Hey guys. Oh man, it's been a long drought since our last video. Um, we're doing it every day, and then we did a couple, and then we just kind of disappeared. Yeah. Um, I guess Cart and I kind of got a little burned out, but want to try to start it up again. Probably won't be like every day like we used to do it before, but trying to be a lot more frequent with it. Just kind of give some of our thoughts and some of the things going on. So, for those of you that don't know, I recently retired from work. I'm still trying to get the hang of it, right? Of you know, sounds kind of weird, but I guess you get into a routine for so many years, and then all of a sudden you don't have it. Uh, it's just so new, right? I'm still trying to figure it out, like what I can stay up as late as I want, I can get up as late as I want, I can just do whatever all day, but the reality is, you gotta get to sleep at a certain time, and you don't want to stay up all night and then get up late in the day, and then half your day's gone. I wanted to make sure that in retirement I have a busy schedule, keep myself occupied. I mean, a lot of it's been meeting up with people that I haven't seen for a really long time. The ones that you send the Merry Christmas, Happy New Year text messages or emails, and then, oh yeah, let's meet up, and then year after year you just never meet up, right? So finally I have that chance to meet people. So everybody has to work, right? And you can't take like hours out of the day to meet up. So everyone has different schedules, but now that I'm retired, I can go out, I can meet people, and just hang out as long as they can. So I've had some lunches that were like exactly 1 hour. I've had lunches that were like 3 hours. It just kind of depends, yeah. So I'll start to kind of veer this more towards the jiu-jitsu aspect, right? So before I retired, I think we were doing like 4. At one point I was actually doing 5, but then I scaled back to 4 days a week, yeah. So I would train Monday to Thursday, push really hard, but I didn't really talk about this to too many people, but I had a little incident where I guess I pushed myself a little too hard. It was a combination of jiu-jitsu and maybe more so exercise and outside of stuff, right? It's ironic. A lot of people I know get hurt outside of jiu-jitsu. But anyway, pushed myself really hard, and I had a little scare. I lost some vision for a little while. So I laid off jiu-jitsu for a couple weeks. Yeah, I was really, really scared. And it was like nearing my retirement. I was thinking, oh my gosh, this physical thing's gonna knock me out. And now that I have an opportunity to train jiu-jitsu and do what I want with it, I couldn't do it. So it was a little scary, right? So fortunately, things cleared up and that went away. So kind of back on track. But it made me think about how I train, when I train, how frequently I train, right? So I've modified my training schedule to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so that I have a rest day in between each training session. And I was telling Cart that I noticed when I go to class, I feel a lot better. I mean, when I was going 4 days a week, I think by the 4th day I was just all burned out, and I was just kind of like laying there and just playing guard and not really being super aggressive. So I think the new schedule's working out better. I do wish I could train more, but maybe I'll start to find some time during the day where I can do some things. But for right now, I think Monday, Wednesday, Friday nights are kind of where I'm at. I'm trying to look for some ways to keep my days busy with jiu-jitsu as well. Whether it's like giving some private sessions, or I mean, ultimately I want to try coaching again. But you know what? I've noticed that daytime classes are harder because most people work during the day, right? Very few people have daytime hours free, except people like me, retirees, or like moms that take their kids to school and they're housewives or house dads, I guess, or even night shift workers, right? So it's kind of hard. I'm trying to figure out where I can fit that in, but so far it hasn't fit, right? So it's okay. I mean, when it happens, right? When it's meant to be, it'll happen. But so I think it's like 6 weeks, a little over 6 weeks. Car got hurt at class, right? I think his rib popped, right? I don't know if it was exactly what the injury was, but it was painful. I mean, it was painful enough that the following day he stayed home from work, but after that he went to work, so he's been gutting it out, but he hasn't been training. So if you watch his stories, he says, oh, I can go once a week to watch, right? So the tricky part, right, is I don't know if any of you are parents out there, but when you were taking your kids to like football, baseball, basketball, whatever games or practices, and the ride home, you would kind of talk to your kid and say, oh, this and that. You try to be positive, right? Try to help them get better at what they're doing. But I guess different people have different perspectives, right? So like these rides home with Carter after the class, so he's not training, but he's watching me. It's like, oh man, I know he has all his best intentions, but it's very like, oh, how Dad, I saw you did this was really good. It's kind of like, here you did this, but you should have done this, and this and that, and I get the lecture, right? It's like, oh, okay. So I know it's all meant from a loving place, and he wants me to get better, so I don't try to argue, right? I accept it and I listen to it, but it's not the easiest thing, right? Because I mean, I know that I'm not the best jiu-jitsu guy. Yeah, I'm Card and I are, besides like Maya and the black belts, right? We're pretty close, right? We're the highest one, so I think he feels that I should be holding myself to a much higher standard, and like, he says, Dad, I see you smiling over there, you should be going harder, like this and that. Like, I mean, I guess we have different perspectives, and I don't want to tell him that for jiu-jitsu for me is fun. Like, I want to have fun and enjoy it, but I don't think he sees it that way. Yeah, so we have different opinions. So I kind of hope he gets better soon, so he can train and he can focus on himself and less looking at me, right? He even said, oh, Dad, how come only when you look at me then you start like pushing harder to do stuff? Like, do I really need to like give you that motivation? It's like, oh, okay, whatever. Anyway, thought I would share that little thought. So as a parent, right, if you're taking your kid home from a competition, a practice or whatever, right, have some compassion for them, right? They're trying their best, right? If they're playing around and goofing off, that's something different, right? But in my situation, I'm not goofing off, right? I mean, people are lower ranked. She said, Dad, you should be doing your stuff on them. I go, well, yeah, I kind of want to let them work too, right? But anyway, all right. Thanks you guys for listening in. Hope to get this more frequently. Take care. Us.